What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Scuba Driver. My name is Steven. That's Kevin over there. Today we are talking about what all is wrong with the United States cheapest Aston Martin V12 that we have here. So I'm going to let Kevin do a little bit of explaining. Kevin, what are we looking at over here?
About a year ago, I purchased the car for about $28,000, and the guy who had it did not take care of it. So obviously, with any expensive car, it's had its owners. I think I'm the 6th owner, so we'll just walk around and show you. We'll start with the front. The grille is a little loose here, so we're gonna have to figure that out.
Not too bad. You said supercars change hands multiple times, so
yeah,
that makes sense. It's got 6 owners.
And then, for some reason, the bolts are missing out of the cover, the radiator cover.
Gotcha. Like down
So
here.
we need to buy bolts for that and put them in. That's it under the hood. There is a tiny leak out of the valve cover, but with it being so small and how big of a job it is to take the intake manifolds off, not going to happen.
We're not touching that.
Passenger side headlight. The high beam works fine, the low beam is burnt out. To get to that, you have to take the wheel off, take the wheel liner out, go in from there, and access the bulb. So we'll be doing that soon.
That sounds fun.
This is minor. That rubber just needs to be put back in there. There's adhesive that was on it originally, I believe.
And we can do that once we take the wheel off and the fender liner anyway, so we're going to be under there anyways.
So, just going around to the interior on this side. On the dash, and this is common with cars that have leather dashes that have been sitting outside, that is shrunk in the sun and separated. So we have to take the glove box out. There's a couple of 10 mils on each side to drop the glove box out. Another couple of 10 mils back in the back. We got to take this side piece out. And then this just pops out, that airbag cover. And then there's a couple of bolts back there to pull that out. We'll glue it. We'll take some of those strong mini clamps and just stretch it and try to glue it back.
Sick. That shouldn't be too hard.
Nope.
Just tedious.
The audio work that the person did in this car before, none of the speakers are hooked up. There was a very crappy audio system that I took out of this car. The only speaker that's hooked up is that center channel above the navigation.
Right there.
So, I did run wire to an amplifier with a Bluetooth module so I could have music temporarily. So there is wire there. I'm going to need to take the whole interior out and solder the wire back onto the speakers to get the stock radio working. In doing that, whoever took the interior apart before did not put the bolts back in right. So the back seats have to go.
I just saw something kind of funny back there.
Yeah, I did too. I don't know what.
Oh, that.
Oh,
That was like an. That's funny. Ford Motor Company.
So everything on this car.
Ford Motor Company.
Everything on this car is Ford and Volvo. The V12 is actually 2 Ford V6s. Other electronic modules in the car are Ford. Actually, if you watch Freddie Tavares on YouTube, when he talks about his Aston Martin, he shows you that if you peel back the key fob, it has a Volvo logo on the key fob underneath the Aston Martin.
Those are things you don't tell people when you have the car.
The stock sub was blown back here, so I did put a 10-inch JL audio in there.
Oh, yeah.
So that's upgraded.
I heard that bumping the other day. It kind of hits pretty hard.
And the only thing with the back is this tail light. I don't know if that bolt came off, but that's not a big deal.
No, you said you were just kind of chilling in your yard and touched it and noticed it was
loose.
Yeah,
I looked and I noticed that the tail light was drooped a little bit, and I went over and just kind of did that, and I was, what the hell?
supercar ownership.
Doesn't make any sense. The only other thing in the back, which I didn't cover here, is these covers. And I've never actually seen these covers, but there has to be.
Yeah, it wouldn't just be exposed, right?
These knobs are to break the back glass, so these can come out of the glass if the top is up. But I mean, I couldn't imagine that Aston Martin would
just leave that exposed.
Would leave that. So if
I don't know why I'm picturing like something that matches this, or maybe like a black piece that kind of goes over it.
I honestly just haven't looked. If anybody at Red Pants is out there knows and can sell us some, let me know.
Let us know in the comments. Do you have a hookup with them? Because we might need it.
So around on this side,
gas cap.
The gas cap is pushed down, and when you have to hit it a couple times, and then you kind of have to put something underneath of it to pull it up. And actually, somebody doing that scratched it.
Gotcha. I was wondering where that came from.
So, I mean, that's not a deep scratch.
No, it's kind of like a surface scratch. I almost thought it was like a piece of my bunny hair when I was on here the other day.
It is deeper than I would like. It's not going to be able to polish.
Gotcha.
Polish it out, but I mean,
that might just be a tiny little detail at the end.
You can definitely make it look better.
And we also have to remember you're selling the cheapest Aston Martin V12 in the United States, so
hopefully when it's sold,
scratch isn't too bad.
40.
It was like 46K?
46,000 miles on the car?
Yeah.
And that's original miles, original motor. Moving around to this side of the interior, the convertible top, if you look at that side, has a cover that retracts when the top comes down. There is actually a rod that hooks right here that hooks to that piece, and that rod is missing. It'll be nothing to, I mean, probably 50 cents for us to get a rod and then bend it with some pliers. And again, the interior is loose, which is fine because we have to take the interior out anyways to do.
So after we take all that apart, and we'll just tighten it back up.
Right.
When we're putting it back together.
The driver's side seatbelt, and this is a recent occurrence of when I owned the car, it started doing this. It will not retract. And I've messed with it. I have done everything other than taking
the panel off.
The panel off and taking the actual seatbelt mechanism out. So
it's just more annoying than anything.
It's annoying. It's a Ford part. It's not going to be anything to get the part if I have to buy a brand new one. So
not bad.
On the door here, there's this trim piece that is missing from here. So it was just glued on and it came off.
Gotcha. Probably just from sitting outside and just sitting in the heat for too long.
You can buy this piping in a roll.
And just custom
and
fit it.
it's cheap, so we can just cut it and put it back on with some tape.
Or we just go to the Aston Martin dealership and then get a quote on that.
Well, there's a repair shop in Charlotte that actually, I could not figure out this e-brake. When I bought the car, that was another thing that was wrong with it. You pull up the e-brake and then you put it back down, and that sets the brake so you can get in and out of the car. And it was beeping at me the whole time like it was stuck on. The brake wasn't on. So I don't know if they recalibrated it or what, but they ended up fixing that for me.
Nice.
The only other thing is my phone blowing up. These cell panels on the mirrors. They're, I don't know,
just kind of worn out.
That is the only, I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, only
but normally
plastic.
You see cheaper cars with that kind of plastic.
Yeah.
And it sunfades. So we just got to go back and I've seen a lot of people will just go through and put spray can clear coat. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Other than that, that's everything that's wrong with the car. It needs windshield wipers.
Oh, that's not a big deal. Windshield wipers.
The things that I have done, like I said, the stereo was earthquake audio, and if you look under here, there's like 2 screw holes in the leather. So the person had a equalizer here with a Bluetooth module on it.
Oh wow!
And in the trunk
screwed
they
it
had
into the leather.
Yep, screwed it into
What?
the leather. In the trunk they had two amplifiers for the door speakers. One for the door speaker channel, one for the rear channel. In this car, that kind of makes sense. If you do a sedan custom stereo, I always just take the speakers out of the back. It doesn't make any sense for me to have that stage when I'm in the front. So they had 2 amps, 2 for the front, 2 for the back, or 1 for the front, 1 for the back. And then they had an amp with a subwoofer in the trunk. Can someone explain to me why you would put a subwoofer back here where you have this convertible compartment and then the rear firewall and then everything plus a factory subwoofer here? You're not going to hear that.
Oh man, that's for the people at the stoplight to hear. That's the only reason I can think
tag
of.
rattle.
Yeah.
So that was a mess. Actually, I wasn't going to show you this because it's So I've got a JL Audio Bluetooth module, and that's made for a boat.
Wow.
But it was
Well, it's
screwed in
waterproof
here.
at least.
Yeah, it's definitely waterproof. It was screwed in here. The screw is actually still there, but it just came down.
Can't fell off. Yeah.
So obviously, the carpet down here, there's some spots. We'll
Yeah.
clean. That's the bass knob for this amplifier. And then I've got it tied into the fuse box there. As far as I can tell, the only thing that is not stock on this car is the exhaust.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is. I haven't got it under the car. But I did remove the fuse out of the exhaust to hold the valves open all the time.
Nice. It sounds like a V12.
It's a V12. You want to hear it?
Let's hear that. Yeah, let's hear it. It's definitely louder than any other V12 Aston I've heard, kind of just sitting around. Usually they're very subtle.
Yeah.
I rode in a DB11 last summer on video, and it sounded good, but it didn't sound this good. It's definitely more muffled. Yeah. All the electronics, everything looks good, and
That dip bulb failure is because of the passenger headlight.
yeah, the headlight.
41,635 miles.
Oh, so
34 miles.
Look at that, we were 5,000 over. 41,000 miles on a 2006 Aston. It's not bad at all.
The only major problem to this car, and it's a common problem with the DB9s, the passenger side motor, for, to move it back up, and I don't know which motor it is because there's a couple motors in there. It stays on when you cut the car off. So there is a disconnect in these cars because they plan for people to leave them sitting for a while and not really mess with them. So you can hit that disconnect in the back and it turns off all the electronics except for the alarm and the door lock. So you shut the car off. That is secure.
That's why you kind of see some people with supercars have like the battery hooked up in their garage all the time.
You have to put batteries in your tunnel.
Yeah, because they're not driving it every day for sure.
And that's a huge problem. And if you, I think Rob Peretti from Super Speeders has talked about it. When he lets his rental cars sit for winter,
Yeah.
they'll come back and there'll be oil leaks and 6 months of letting them sit, and you have to drive them.
Yep. That's exactly
And it
right.
sucks because people don't want to put miles on them.
Yeah, most people don't want to drive a supercar.
And they're made to rev out, and they're made to just go.
Yep.
You can't baby them.
Nope. This isn't a Camry.
No.
Remember, guys, it's not one Ford V6. It's two. Yeah, I mean, it idles perfect. All right, so it looks like you got some aftermarket wheels on there, and they are giant and extremely aggressive.
They are Ferraris. So
I've heard of that.
They were on the car when we purchased it, and I do not know if it came with slotted rotors from the factory, but it does have slotted rotors. They're not huge in terms of like supercar tires. You know, the Vipers are like 325s.
285.
So these are 285 35s, 7 are 19s. So it's 19s in the back, and I mean it's a wide tire. If you can,
it definitely
is. The camera back there.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put some pictures on my Instagram, but you can really see how much it pokes out too.
And
they're definitely aggressive on this vehicle.
I have not checked the date code on these either. I think these wheels would have, with the width of the rear, they would have looked a lot better with some 18s in the front and staggered.
Yeah.
And then set the front end a little bit lower. That's another thing with the ride height of this car. I don't know if it's the wheels, with the sidewall, but
it's definitely pretty low.
It
I mean,
looks like it's lower. And
I'll get kind of a back shot.
I can't see in there.
Just backing it in and out of the driveway a couple of times, you can see how low it is, and it's got more of an aggressive stance, especially when you see it kind of going down the road or just driving up and down the driveway. It doesn't look like a normal Aston Martin when I saw it.
You don't really see the Vantages or the Volantes. Obviously, the Vantage is a more desired car. The roof slants back more. From what I've learned, the difference between a Volante and a Vantage are rear seats.
Yep.
The Volante has rear seats. The Vantage does not.
Insurance seats.
And insurance seats. I'm not a big fan of convertibles. I love the way this one looks, but I like the hardtop DB9 because of, I keep looking at you and not the camera.
You're fine.
Because of the slant that it has in the back. With my 2020 Sonata, it's the same way. I look at the back and it kind of reminds me of a Tesla with that sloped back. So with that being said, everything that's wrong with the car, I think we're going to start with the headlight.
Yep. Start with the headlight.
And probably next work on the sound system.
Okay.
And get all the speakers back working, pull that amplifier I put in there and it out. Maybe Steven will have a sub to put in his car.
There we go. We'll put a sub in the Subaru, no problem.
Buy the box and the wiring kit and everything.
Yep.
And then after the interior is done, obviously tackling that piece, and then the bolts and everything and how it mounts, and then this cover here all at once when we take the interior out.
And we're going to do pretty much like a whole build series on this, and each video probably have each part will probably have its own video, so we'll upload those and kind of just show you guys the progress of this car and what it's like to work on your own exotic or supercar in your garage. And Kevin's got a lot more experience than I do, so I'm looking forward to learning a lot from him.
I didn't want to pay anybody to work on my stuff. I wanted to do it myself. I wanted to learn and just evolved from there and grew my knowledge. And
that's awesome, man.
Now we're working on this.
And now we're working on Aston Martin. I don't know if you guys remember, but I did my first oil change in September on a Scion FRS, so we're going to be working on Aston Martin now, though.
Also, to give a teaser, I've got 2 more cars coming. When this is gone, it's the car's been sitting for 20 years, but it's a 1969, and we're going to start a series on that as well. In the middle of doing that, I will have required a brand new car that is a stock twin turbo 365 horsepower, so we'll definitely be doing a build series on that, doing mods pretty much like Steven's doing to his FRS, but I'm going performance. I'm probably not going to do very much for looks.
So it'll be a whole new animal. And we'll have a lot more cars to work on the channel. Bring some variety, but we'll start with an Aston Martin, and you guys get to see what's going to come after that. Well, by the way, Nice shirt. I don't know if you guys saw that, but scuba driver shirt. Let me know if you guys are interested in this. Kevin designed that for me. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that multiple times, but it looks pretty sick, and we got those coming.
If
but
you want logos, hit me up.
Yeah, Kevin is the man if you need any designs. I've watched him firsthand. Hit him up. We'll drop his tag in the, or his Instagram tag in the description below. But
you could probably just
yeah. True. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. We can't wait to bring you guys some Aston Martin content. And of course, we've been doing a few more things for the FRS as well, so got a lot more of that coming. Yeah, we just got done working on that last night.
Actually.
Yeah, you can't look. I might have given it away at the beginning, but only if you noticed. But anyways, thanks guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can see some more Aston Martin content. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.